I'm Josh Hvaal and this is my story. So here is actually where I played my first ever set when I was 9. I'd played for Hilton Harriers, I think it was, or something like that. It was like a football sort of do or whatever. And I just played house music. And there was a load of people at the time that used to come up and think that it was a bit of a gimmick that a 9-year-old kid was there DJing, and they didn't quite believe that it was me that was doing it, but it was. So yeah, that was where I played my first ever set, ever. Yeah, so I'm originally from Chester, but I was brought up in Derby. I had really quite a normal childhood, really. Came from like a real dance music loving family. So there was always sort of dance music on in the house and whatever, but Derby's quite a quiet little city. You know, in previous years, it was known as, in the 90s, you know, you had places like Progress and whatever, which were sort of at the forefront of like the UK dance music scene. But it kind of, after that had sort of closed, I think, God, it was well before I was born. But they used to have people like Judge Jules and Boy George and Pete Tong that were playing there on like a weekly basis. So they had some great DJs that were there. So I think from a sort of heritage point of view, Derby's got a big sort of history with dance music. So I learned everything in this place really, from warming up a crowd to DJ etiquette. I was very fortunate really that a lot of the DJs in this sort of small community in Derby had been in the game quite a long time, so they were able to guide me in the right direction of the right things to do, the wrong things to do, how to understand how to read a crowd properly. So honestly, I've probably had the best 3 or 4 years of my life in this place, sort of getting up to some right shenanigans, but it was great. Sort of 300-400 people would turn up to every bunker party there. Great sound system, the highest end of sort of equipment to be sort of learning on, and yeah, it was great really.
So I'm Ashley Fern. I run an event called The Bunker, and I gave Josh one of his early sets for the party. So Bunker is a party that's been running for 8 years in Derby. Started off at a venue called Sadler's as a weekly party, and then over time moved to venues like Ghost Bar, which is now shut down, and now our staple home is at Vine. We've done festivals like Forbidden Forest, done little stints at other places like Park Life and We Are Festival, and yeah, Groovebox recently as well, which was a big stage for us. How long have I known Josh? Too long. I don't know, about 6-7 years probably, I'd say. And he, you know, sort of came into the family about 6 years in, started DJing for us, and went on from there. And we were just stood there watching him and just seeing him like bob around as if there's like a crowd of 10,000 people when there was just like 5-6 of us there. It was just crazy. And from there we just looked at him and just goes, yeah, he's got a future. One of the things about the events that we run, we're always looking to find new talent and sort of teach them as best we can from our own experiences. Obviously they go on to overtake us and go up the ladder, like, have better releases and such, and really go far in their careers. But the main sort of premises of the event brand is to find up and coming local talent, give them the best advice that we can. If we can be a little part of their journey and sort of help them and sort of help them to grow, then that's us doing our job.
So I started producing music when I was about 18 or 19. Basically, I'd actually won some money on a football accumulator, and I'd decided that I wanted to not waste it and go out and buy some stuff to start producing. So I went out and bought a Mac and Logic and sort of never went back really. The main influences around my production and sound was the fact that I was a DJ for so many years before, so I'd spent so many years sort of digging through vinyl, which meant that I went back more than I went forward, so I was more interested in sort of the records that had already been released. So I kind of went down a bit of a rabbit hole really of artists like DJ Dion, Paul Johnson was another big one, and then the sort of more modern day artists that kind of their sound was also of a certain era, so people like Shadow Child and DJ House. I really sort of went down the rabbit hole with them, their sounds, and just wanted to learn more about how they wrote records. So I'd start deconstructing their records in my head. So I'd listen to the tracks and then pick out key elements, and then look at how they made that you know, how they manipulated the sound or did stuff like that to achieve that sort of specific tone. So when I'm in the studio, my creative process is I basically work really fast. So from idea to completed record is normally about 2.5 hours, and the record doesn't really change too much. But predominantly what I'll do is like a lot of producers, they build a drum groove sort of through 808s, 909s, or sometimes 707s, and then from there I'll start keying in sort of chord progressions and stuff like that on the piano that I think could potentially work. But I never ever go into the studio with a preconceived idea of what sort of sound it is that I want to make, or I don't go in there going, I need to write a record like this. It's just, I let it flow. Sometimes it flows and sometimes it doesn't, but because I have short creative windows of like, I won't be able to produce for a while, and then I'll have 4 days where it's just absolute chaos, where I'll write sort of 10 of the most or the best records that I've ever written. Then that's it, I can't produce for a little while. But that's just the way I work, and it just seems to work for me. So I connected with Jamie by chance, really. I got sent his demo email address, and I started sending him some music. So I'd sent him like 5 or 6 records, but there was a period on SoundCloud where you couldn't actually see who was listening and downloading your records. So I'd sent them to him, I don't know, early summer 2019. Unbeknown to me, he'd been playing these records out like constantly, and it was What You Need and Come Again. So I'd gone out to Ibiza, and I'd come back on the Wednesday morning. Paradise was on the Wednesday evening. I was back in work on the Thursday because we were in an hour about actually staying out there. And I woke up on Thursday morning, got to work at stupid o'clock, and some of my mates had sent me sort of Instagram stories. They're like, "Isn't this your record?" And it was Jamie playing What You Need and Come Again. But it turns out I think he played like five records in that set. It was like an extended set, which was crazy for me because he was the first guy that I'd ever really sent tunes to. And yeah, he was playing it at DC10, but he subsequently went on to sign What You Need and Come Again to Hot Tracks. And then that was it. He just, everything I was sending him afterwards, he was playing and signing. So yeah, very fortunate in that respect. Signing to Hot Creations really did change my life. A lot of guys lead up to the Hot Creations release where they'll have sort of 2 or 3 decent releases on mid-tier labels before. But Jamie went in straight away and he signed like I think 8 records or whatever it was. But I owe a lot to Jamie really, because he sort of has given me a platform through that label, because it is probably what I consider probably one of the more pivotal underground dance music labels of sort of our generation. So I owe a lot to them guys, and you know, I've been very fortunate to be able to go and play some amazing places, travel across the world, meet some incredible people and play some quality sets like in some unreal clubs. So yeah, I'm really appreciative of the sort of opportunity that they gave me.